Hey guys, thank you for joining. Hey guys, thank you for joining today as we look at deployment options in Microsoft Teams. Just wait a couple of minutes for the last few people joining. I just realised that some of the invite dates will need to get a little bit more sophisticated with dates, as I believe it's now daylight saving, which when I originally sent out the invites, it wasn't daylight saving. So I think some people might have got confused with the dates, especially for the webinar early this week, but is all good. They are recorded and we'll upload them straight to YouTube straight after this. So we will send out an update shortly with those updated dates. But as everyone's getting there now, we will get kicking off. So we'll just wait a couple of last minutes and then we'll get kicking off and started. All right, mindful of everyone's time, so we might get started. Feel free, as always, if you've got any questions, please feel free to jump them into the Q&A section. As always, we'll be running and we'll try and answer them as we jump through. And even if you post them mid-chat, I'm looking at that. We'll try and pick them up mid-chat and cover them off for you. So today we just wanted to run through, we always get constantly asked questions around deployment and what's the order to do things and how to configure and especially around options around meeting rooms and licensing again. So today I thought we'd cover off on deployment options and then also pricing and quoting and things today as well. So we are going to cover off on auto attendance call queues. I actually didn't update the agenda for this, and then we will cover off on some of the licensing and product options as well. So let's jump through. So call queues. What can you do with the call queue? What can't you do with the call queue within Microsoft Teams? So call queues go by very many names within our industry. These things are called hunt groups, call queues, ring groups, depending on where you've come through your journey. But in essence, what a call queue allows you to do is actually queue a call for people to answer. So one of the cool features is you can add a greeting to the beginning when they jump in that call queue. While they're on hold, it will play them music on hold while they're on hold. And then you can redirect those calls to users. And then there's a bunch of parameters you can set and different things. What happens if max size, timeout, and call handling options. An auto attendant, on the other hand, or virtual receptionist, as some people call them, is typical when you ring up and go push 1 for sales, 2 for support, and things like that. So you can play obviously a welcome message. You've got your menu options. One of the cool features that Microsoft offers is directory searching. So you can actually search for people. You can also schedule business and office hours. And it actually does text to speech and speech recognition in trying to ring through the directory, which is pretty cool. Currently at the moment, auto attendants can only transfer through to an operator, a user within on Teams calling, or to a call queue or another auto attendant if you have nested auto attendants. Menu options are your default 0 to 9 plus star and hash. If you want multiple menu options, you can then transfer it through to another auto attendant, so you can have nested auto attendants. But one thing to note is if it is a PSTN call that's come in and you want to transfer to someone within the organization, they have to have enterprise voice enabled. So they have to have a phone system license assigned to them. Otherwise, you won't be able to transfer to them. That is a current requirement, which is also a requirement on Teams calling. If you get a direct call and you want to transfer it to someone, they have to have a phone system license. Otherwise, they won't be able to interact with that PSTN call. Auto attendant options, so you can do dial by name with DTMF. So actually type in partial name and it'll recognize that. Name recognition with speech, which is pretty cool. And then using the operator option. So you can flick it through to an operator and you can configure who that operator is. Licensing options. So everyone, we kind of cover off on the Switch Connect side very well, the licensing options from direct routing from the Switch Connect, but just to cover off on the actual Microsoft licensing and when you're quoting out a solution. So if you have an auto attendant and a call queue and you want to assign a phone number to it from the PSTN network, you will need a virtual phone system user license. They are a $0 license. You can order it straight in the portal, and then you'll need to assign that to your resource account. When we're looking at provisioning options and things like that, is we kind of bring this up is when you're quoting is just some of the information that you want to capture from a customer, and then also from a provisioning and deployment perspective, is so you can reduce your deployment times and the amount of double handling. There's kind of a right order and a wrong order to provision stuff in. You can jump at any step and jump to other parts of it, then jump back, but you just end up double handling yourself. So one of the ways that we recommend is to actually step through that in a logical fashion. So what it would be is create the security group or Teams group or mail distribution list that's got all the agents in it. Then create your call queue. From there, you can create the resource account. Once you've done all that and set all your call queue options, you can then go back into the admin portal, assign the license, and then jump into PowerShell and assign the number and route the number through. That's the most logical way that you don't end up double backing yourself. You can just go through and create the call queue, but then when you want to add members, you've got to have a group. So if you haven't already created the group, you've then got to jump back. So there's a lot of jumping around, but if you follow this through in a logical order, it makes it a very streamlined process. That's the same for auto attendants as well. Create the auto attendant, create the resource account, create the options, and then assign the licenses through. If you want more of a deep dive, and as we step straight into this, check out our YouTube channel. There's actually a previous video we did on auto attendants and call queues. Highly recommend jumping on that, and actually we deep dive into actually how to provision them and step through them. We'll leave that. When it comes to pricing, this is the one we also get a lot of questions. So we don't want to spend a huge amount of time today. We just want to go through some of the options from the actual pricing perspective. So we do have two pricing models. So if you look in the market, most of our competitors all choose the per user model. So you buy a calling plan per user. Effectively, we've found from over the years in doing voice, this isn't the most efficient model for most customers. And it's not a model they're used to from their voice. It is from, say, Office 365 and SaaS modeling these days, but we actually find the per channel model is a lot more logical method, because traditionally this is how their phone system would have been. Microsoft, instead of having Microsoft Teams, it might have been Maya, Avaya, Cisco, or whatever as that phone system. So they would have had a bunch of extensions hanging off that may or may not have had a direct in-dial number. So one thing to note, within Teams, everyone has to have their own direct in-dial number for Teams to work. So they may or may not have had a direct in-dial number, and they would have had like an ISDN or SIP trunking or PSTNs connected that then would have sent through to a call queue or auto attendant and then routed through. So that's why we built the per channel model, that if you haven't done voice previously or not sure how many channels or user plans, what's the best, the easiest way when you're doing an apples for apples comparison to Microsoft Teams is look at what they've currently got. If they've got an ISDN 10, sell them 10 channels. So they're going to be no worse off than what they currently are. And that's what we kind of recommend for most partners. As you do your first few deals, as you start to understand the product more and get more familiar with the product, you can then start looking to aggregate this a bit differently. But definitely in the first instance, I would highly recommend doing that. Then from a calling plan perspective, so which option, if you go per user or per channel model, you have three options from each. So basically no included calls up to included all your calls, local, national, mobile, and then there is one just with local, national calls included. So you've got those options there for whichever one that you may need. One thing to note is that you will, whichever one you choose, everyone has to have the same plan. So you can't have two people on per channel, then the rest on per user, or someone per user and the rest on per channel. It's either or. and then everyone needs to have the same plan. So if you're going User Plus, then everyone needs to have User Plus. That's the way that system works. So whichever model you choose, you need to choose a model, and then within the model, everyone has to have that same plan. It's just too hard. The way the system's designed, you just can't differentiate individually. Some of the other services, bolt-on options that you've got. So one of the mandatory setups from us is the Teams enablement setup. So this is a one-time charge. There's a bunch of configuration that SwitchConnect needs to do in the back end to make sure that all works for you. You've got porting charges. So these are all once-off charges to the customer. And then we've got some advanced feature set. We will be coming out with a new price book in the next coming weeks. We've got a bunch of new value-added options that are come out. So we're just doing up the latest price book and documentation for you guys on that. So watch this space. There'll be a couple of emails coming out shortly around that new feature set. So watch this. So these are all monthly charges, and if there's a corresponding setup charge, it'll be listed as part of the price book. Number ranges. So all your number ranges, there is a monthly cost to actually have them. We did know some changes. This is what's in the current price book. If you've got single numbers, there is a monthly charge for a single number as well. We realized it wasn't in the current price book or the order form, so that will be updated and a new one out next week. So watch this space. It's got your porting charges there again to make that simple. These are fairly standard, been moving carrier to carrier in Australia. They're all fairly standard across the board. One other thing to note too, in these calling plans, we do support other countries now. So we do support New Zealand, UK and US currently, and there's more regions coming online. So the new price book will be broken down by country as well. And obviously the porting charges and setup fees are slightly different for different countries. So there will be a full price book coming out with the different country plans also. So watch this space. One of the biggest things that we found worked really well, and when we look at partners who have a lot of success in selling Microsoft Teams, comes around proof of concepts. So this is our standard proof of concept product offering that's out there. We do have a few other proof of concepts coming out now that will also include some of the other feature set. So there's the new call center platform and everything that will be coming out with a proof of concept bolt onto it. So watch this space. We just got some new collateral being put together explaining these out a bit more, and brochureware that you can send to customers so they can explain what they're going to get out of it. So please watch this space. And a lot of that's come from working with partners like yourselves to understand what you guys need to go out and sell more. So one thing we will bring is anytime you come up with a customer that comes up with an objection or something that they'd like to see as part of the product offering, or go, hey, it'd be really good if we could do this, make sure you really flow that back to your account manager at SwitchConnect, and that will then flow up to the product team, as we're always looking to expand the product offering. And you'll really see over the next coming weeks, there's a bunch of new solutions being launched, and all of that has come from feedback from partners and customers going, hey, it'd be great if we could do this. We like Teams, but if we could do this, it would be really, really good. So please keep an eye out for that, as there's a bunch of new product offering coming. That's all I really had for today. I'm not sure if anyone's got any Q&A questions. Please free to drop them in the chat. Today was kind of just a quick recap session for Friday. I know Friday's always a busy day for everyone trying to get everything done before the weekend, but so that was just a kind of a quick, really catch-up session. The other thing I will say, I'm just going to bring it up while we're here. We have had a bunch of new stuff added to the YouTube channel. So by all means, remember to check out our SwitchConnect channel. If you're looking for our YouTube, if you go to the SwitchConnect website, click on the YouTube link. Make sure that you do subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's always new content. So we have put a Teams 101 section up here that looks at the basic functionality in how to use Teams. And this really came back from feedback from the partner as well. They were sitting there going, hey, I get how to provision and all that. That's really great. but the bit I'm struggling with is how to use Teams. So we've started to put up videos in how to do the basic functionality. So you'll see that how to make a call in Teams. So there's 3 or 4 different ways to make a call. We've gone into the shortcut screens and things like that. The other thing we've also gone into is how to park a call, so how call parking works, basic call controls, how you put a call on hold, how you transfer calls, that sort of things, and then how to auto escalate calls to conference calls and things like that. So there's a bunch of new content constantly being rolled out here. There will be a Teams calling technical section that will go into how to enable call parking. It's got to be enabled by policy. So there's a bunch of new stuff in the admin portal that we'll be stepping through, and then all the new product offering that we've got coming out. There will be videos on all of that. So that stuff is all coming. So keep an eye out for that. It will be out over the next week or so, and you'll really be starting to get more and more content from us around how all those new offerings are. So if no one's got anything else for today, we might wrap it up there. It's a super short webinar today. Let you guys go back to your lunch break. If you're in a wonderful place that has daylight saving, if you're like the rest of us based in Brisbane where it's only 11:20, thank you guys for joining early, and we look forward to talking to you soon. But definitely keep out there if at any time you need any help in running campaigns or anything to really drive the teams or the voice plays, please reach out to your account manager, and we're more than here to help you grow your business. Thank you for joining today, guys, and we look forward to talking to you guys soon.